We are live. It is Tuesday. It's time for another episode of the Get to Know Her show. I'm so excited. We have Dawn Walton joining us today, and Dawn and I go way, way back to the jewelry days. We've got a little story for you, but Dawn is now breeding beautiful little Frenchies, and I'm going to formally introduce you to her in just a minute. But before we do that, how are you guys doing? How was Easter? How's everything going? I hope everybody ate lots of chocolate and indulged a little bit. I think this weekend was tough for a lot of people. You know, it's funny. I write a blog every week, and it comes out on Mondays, and I was feeling this heaviness and just, you know, it's tough. Here we are. We're into yet another holiday where we're used to being with family or with friends, and you know, we're in lockdown again, and it's hard. People are feeling lonely, even when you're with your family, and you can still feel lonely because we're spending so much time alone. And I think it's okay. I think it's something we can talk about. And if you want to get in on the conversation, you can definitely check out my blog. And yeah, just, it's okay. We're all going through this weird time. So with that said, if you do need a little treat, a little pick-me-up, you might want to go check out brendabadome.com. I am wearing her oatmeal colored top today, and how coincidental. I actually was craving some comfort food today, so I had a smoothie this morning, but for lunch, I continued on the breakfast theme, and I made myself a big bowl of oatmeal, some frozen blueberries in there. I put a little bit of yogurt in, chia seeds, and it was delicious. Oatmeal for lunch. Who knew? Anyway, you guys, please check out Brenda Badome. Remember to use the coupon code Get to Know Her. She's going to give you 21% off of your order when you use that coupon code. So take advantage. And I'm going to introduce you now to the wonderful, beautiful, amazing Dawn Walton. Dawn is a registered breeder of posh puppies, a former corporate burnout, financial advisor by trade, an artist at heart, and a previous jewelry designer of Studio Blue Jewelry. I have a feeling a lot of you have some of Dawn's pieces. Now a full-time mama and breeder of Frenchies, Dawn has so much to educate us on with what dog ownership looks like in these COVID times. I'm so excited to catch up with her. The last time I saw her was years ago. We had dinner at a corporate, like a gift show we were both participating in. So hopefully Dawn can help me refresh those memories again. I think together we'll be able to do that. Anyway, let's bring Dawn on right now.
Hi.
Hi there, gorgeous. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have you on, and I want everybody to notice the beautiful painting behind you. Because it's one of your pieces, which is so awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of a little quirky, I know, but it was one of those things where I was just like, you know what, I want to make something weird, and I want it to be for me, and that's what I did. And the guy that you can see behind me right now, he's a conversation piece. Not everybody likes him. Yeah.
Oh,
Ryan's
so
always like, you know, you made it. You can unmake it. You can paint over his head, you know.
Oh, that's so funny, Dawn.
Yeah.
Did you make that during COVID? Was that a COVID-inspired piece, or it's?
I made that one a long time ago. I'm going to say probably 3 years ago. And I like to do scenery pieces a lot of the time, or even sometimes I'll see something. I know some of you are going to be like, that's copying, but I'll see something that someone else has done that I'm really inspired by their technique or how they've done it. So I'll just play and, you know, do it at my house and just try to make something for myself. And then I'll tire of it and go over it again. And yeah.
So on that theme of copying,
yeah,
I just want to put something out there. Are you a fan of Gwen Stefani's? Do you like her from No Doubt?
I don't really follow. I do like.
Okay.
I used to listen to her music all the time when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I think that she was so cool and just a really independent vibe. But I'm going to say I haven't been following. Yeah.
Okay, well, this is going back quite a few years, so probably that I'm like you. I was like really into No Doubt. I love the, you know, the girl in the all guy band, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But there was an interview with her, which was really great. And it was, to me, it was, you know, pretty progressive for the time, where she actually addressed this whole thing about, you know, some people say compare you to Madonna, or compare you to this, or that you're and the whole discussion was around copying. And she just outward said, you know what, everybody copies everybody. There's nothing we can do now that's original. It's all been done. Yeah. So I actually get inspired, and we just have to, that's the way it is.
Yep. I had one of my favorite artists, like, love the artist so much, and I did a painting that was similar to hers, and I tagged her in it and was like, hey, this is my version of you, and I think this is fantastic, and I love your stuff, and it was just for me. And she actually had an art gallery reach out to me and say that I was encroaching on her distinctive style and send some not so nice messages. And it was really, for that moment, it was like a little bit of a game changer for me. You can, my son's taking the dogs outside. Sorry if you can hear that.
That's okay.
It was a little bit of a game changer for me, because it ruined my perspective and thoughts about how I looked at that person and viewed that person, and kind of changed me a little bit moving forward too, because something like that sticks with you. So for me as a business owner, I'm always trying to think of how to separate myself now from everyone else, so I don't have that happen, right?
Yeah, it's so true. And I remember, like, way back when we were first presenting ourselves online, I was guilty of that. I would feel threatened when I saw people who had designs that were similar to me, or, you know, and it took a while for me to figure out that, you know, anybody can copy me, and who cares if they do, I'm on to the next thing, right?
That's right. That's right.
It's fine. It's okay that we all are influenced by each other. But oh, Dawn. Okay. I feel like now, you know what? You and I could, like, totally just chat forever. I feel like we're back having dinner together.
I know.
What year was that? 2000? 2002?
It was a long time ago. And we were actually with another designer, Tie Knots at the time. Yeah.
Yes. That's right. Rachel. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was my first trade show, and I just remember being so excited to be with, like, all of the celebrity designers. Like, I just like, it was like the best of the best in my mind. You know, I thought it was awesome.
It was awesome. Okay, so we're gonna go there, but before we do that, we have to start with the first question of all guests: is what did little Dawn want to be when she grew up?
I wanted to be something glamorous who worked in, and you're probably going to think this is ridiculous, but I wanted to be someone glamorous who worked in, like, the big city buildings in Toronto. I wanted to be, like, in the big concrete jungle, and I thought it was so cool at the time. And I remember my aunt driving through the city and me looking at the tall buildings, country girl, right? Thinking that the buildings were so cool, and I wanted to, like, be at the top of one of them working this really awesome job, which is no longer at all. So, but that was it. Funny dream for a kid, eh?
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that. I remember when we were kids and we'd visit my grandmother in Toronto on Sundays, have dinner, and then it would be dark on the way home. And I would say to my dad, can you put on, like, he listened to CKFM, which is 99.9, but at the time they had, like, disco. And I'd say, can you put the disco on, and can we go down Yonge Street? And he's like, okay. And then we do that, and I'd look at all those buildings, same thing. And I'd be like, I'm going to live in a big apartment with, like, black leather furniture and chrome. And like, there's nothing further from, I don't want that at all.
Cold. I know. And then the airplanes, did the airplanes fascinate you as well?
Me too. God, yeah.
Yeah.
Big time. And the airplanes, I'm still a fan of. I love to travel. Do you like to travel, Dawn?
I believe it or not, I haven't traveled a lot. I've only traveled a little bit, and it's been with the kids the last few times. But I enjoy, because I enjoy experiencing things through their eyes. So for me, the traveling, it's still, I'm a little bit green still.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, that just means after COVID, we need to go on a trip together.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go back. So here you are, you're a little girl and you're dreaming about working in the big office tower. And then you do.
Yes, I did.
You pursue that. So how did that all happen?
It was funny because, like I said, I grew up in a small town. So, let me start over. Even though I grew up in a small town, my parents flipped homes. So they jumped from small town to small town and then seemed to stay in the Clearview area for a while. And, they were like workaholics. And I always remember growing up being told how hard my dad was a worker and how hard of a worker my mom was. Like people, that's how they related to me. I know your dad works so hard. He never takes any breaks or lunches. And my mom was always a business owner and it was crazy. So I think I became very independent through them and through watching them do things, plus also having to pull up my own socks and learn that I had to do this stuff on my own because my parents, as business owners, as you know, they were spread so thin. They didn't have a lot of time to do things and, go to like sports and stuff like a lot of the other kids did. Anyways, so right out of school, high school, I got right into banking. I was thrown into a sales job, which was horrible. And it was like a pilot it was kind of like PC banking. And so I used to have to just walk up to people and cold, like solicit them. Oh. And I know, cringy, right? Like with the clipboard and So anyways, I did that. And that actually built up quite a bit of armor on me, though, because I became familiar with certain conversations and because all the conversations were the same, right? So anyways, I started there and started going through the corporate industry and just climbing and climbing and climbing. And I tried to help out with a manager at one time, and I realized I didn't like being a manager. I don't like managing other people because I can't handle all the different personalities. And I don't like complaints. I don't like it when people come to me with like, first world problems that they can solve on their own. So I realized that I wouldn't be a good fit for something like that.
Wow, that's a pretty, that's very insightful that you were able to pick up on that so quickly.
Yeah, I know what I like and I know what I don't like. Yeah, and
that's good because I was just going to say, you're like me, you're such a people person. And I found, same with me, like, I don't think managing people is my strongest suit, but I struggled with it for so long because I love people. So I'm like, how can I not love this when I love people? So good for you that you could separate the two. Like, this is one thing. And it was difficult because I definitely thought I wanted to be at the top. And especially what a lot of people don't know is when you, when you're bankers that work at the banks, they don't make a lot of money. Everybody thinks they do, but they don't. And so entry level right now, probably for a financial advisor, is $40,000 a year. And then, you're working so many different hours and you're really trying to impress, but there's, the boss can only pick a couple people that they want to take to the top with them. Right. So, I did that for a long time. My pay grade went up drastically because I was an achiever with what I was doing. But when you get to a certain point where you're working so many hours to earn X amount of dollars and, to do whatever it is you're doing, I personally hit burnout. I burned out. I was sleeping in my car at lunch and just thought that, this isn't for me. So. Yeah. Amazing. And the hours are crazy too, right? You've got to be up early in the morning and then
you have to look your best. You have to dress like you're going to a wedding every day. Hair has to be done, nails. You have to buy expensive clothing because you have to look presentable when you're working in the bank. Men, you'll see them in full suits a lot of the time. So it's a costly job as well because you have to be a certain, present yourself in a certain way you have to come across with confidence, right?
Yeah. Wow. So how many years did you do that, Dawn?
So I've always done it from 19 years old up until 2 years ago. I left the bank Yeah, I left on a sick leave. So I did the jewelry in between, and I've always had the dogs. My mom is a breeder as well. So I grew up with the knowledge and experience behind the dogs, but old school ways. You can probably hear a puppy crying right now. But yeah, I did it up until about 2 years ago when I was sleeping in my car a lot, and I went through a period where I got unilateral facial paralysis. So one part of my face wasn't functioning, and I used to have itchy skin all the time, and I could feel electricity in my fingertips, and it was stress. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
And I joked about it. Like, I started exercising and playing soccer and stuff, and I was like doing really well. And then when I had the facial paralysis, I said to my mom, "Look, I'm allergic to exercise. Can't do that anymore." And she's like, "That's not funny." Like,
oh gosh.
Yeah. So just, you try to make light of the situations, right?
Yeah, for sure. Wow. And so with all of that stress and now this physical stuff that was happening, was that the tipping point for you? Is that where you just said, okay, that I can't do this anymore?
Yes. That was when I realized something was going wrong drastically. But so yes, that was the tipping point. But so when I was on my sick leave, I had anticipated going back to the bank. I thought that once I was done and I had restored myself, I would go back and I would be excited about going back. And I toyed with it and, had the internal struggles of that. But just before COVID hit, my 15-year-old was struggling with anxiety and depression. And instead of his friends supporting him at school, they actually did the opposite. They started to pick on him. And so he became very suicidal. And it was at that point where I was first ready to kill those kids. I was like, mama bear sets in, but I took a step back and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stay home. The family needs me. I can do it. So that's what I did. And it's just been my focus ever since, is the kids and the dogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's your son? How's he doing now?
Oh, he's amazing. And he loves that I'm home. And we love when we do our little like outings to the stores together and stuff. And he's, even today I got a progesterone machine sent in the mail so I could take the dog's blood and do like samples and test their DNA and to regulate figure out their numbers for their hormones and whatnot. And he's learning. He's 16. He's watching everything I'm doing, and it's so.
Oh, that's wonderful! Like what you did with your mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
That's so great. Okay, so first, before we dive into the doggy talk, because that's going to be a big one, I want to go back to the jewelry. When did you pick up your first pair of needle nose pliers?
It was actually, so I was on not even mat leave. I didn't get mat leave. So I had taken some time off after I had Jacob, my second child. And we were young. We were a young family. We were tight on money. We did everything from the bottom. Back then, we bought our house for $125,000. Like, and it's weird to say back then because that makes me feel so old, but that wasn't too long ago, But anyways, we had bills to pay. Sorry, baby.
That's okay. We like the sound effect. All the doggy lovers are loving this. You kidding me?
So I tried it, but I'd spent like $300 and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much money. I have to make it back. So there was a little market that was down the road, and I went and I made like $700 off my $300 worth of jewelry that I had made. And in that moment I thought, I have something here.
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. I love that. And so you went from that to then, when did you decide to start selling to boutiques? Because I'm trying to think back now when we did first meet, and I know I was saying 2002, but I have a feeling it was probably around somewhere between 5 and 8, maybe.
I don't even know.
It would have been, because there was a time where you think so?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, because I got out of the industry in 2009 when the market crashed.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we had that dinner, we were both obviously wholesaling, but then after having met you, I remember, like, you know, my jewels were in every small town in Southern Ontario. And I'd go and meet with my customers, and there I'd see Studio Blue as well. And it was like you and I were together.
Yep. Yep. It was awesome.
All along after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was so great.
Yeah. So I tried having sales reps, and I had sales reps reach out to me. I started very small. And one of the first stores was Nifty's in Stainer. And yeah, and they were it was such a cool place. And so when I first started out, I started going and introducing myself to stores like them because I knew that was my niche. And then from there, truth be told, I started meeting sales reps, and then I would look at their clientele lists. And then,
of course.
Yes. So I was like, they deal with this store and this store. And, you know, the sales reps that I tried didn't have the passion that I had. I was just another number in their portfolio. So I decided after trying two who didn't give me all the good feels, I went out on my own and started introducing. Same as you go out on the road, you take all your stuff, you sell them what you have on hand, and what's new you send out in the mail after. So I did that for a long time. And but I came to a point where I established regular clients that I could send stuff out in the mail that relied on the catalogs. But then the banking hours were picking up as well. So I was juggling both for quite a while.
Yeah, that's stressful for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, that's so amazing. I have such fond memories of those days, and driving around, visiting people, showing them the lines.
And hugging, shaking hands.
Yes, I know. And it's so cool, like what you're saying with the cold calling, you know, it goes right back to your early days in the banking industry when you had to cold call to people. I had the same working for Canada Post. I remember once I had to cold call on this strip plaza, and it was like, I don't know if you're a fan of SCTV back in the day, but I loved that show. Anyway, with John Candy and Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara. Anyway, so there was a moment where I actually felt like I was in an SCTV sketch. I'm a young woman, 25 years old, in my nice little skirt with my high heels, pantyhose, right? That's what we wore back then, a little jacket, knocked on the door and wanted to see if this particular company did shipping. And they said, yes, we do. Come on in. And they said, well, you're going to have to meet with our shipping guy. And his office is in the back. So I walk across this warehouse, like all by myself.
Oh my God.
And the guy's office was in a closet, and he was like a big man, and he had the smokes going. And I didn't even I was like, okay, cool. And I sat with him. It was like, and you know, I signed my first deal with him. I remember I was so grateful, but it's like that would never happen now.
No way. Human rights would be all over, or HR, be all over that.
HR would be all over it. Totally.
Oh my God.
But it's good. I mean, those were weird times for sure. Like even you having to walk up to people and all that. But you know, it gives us bravery for later. Yeah.
Yes. Makes you stronger, makes you more comfortable. I think it definitely instills confidence, and you develop a good sense of who you are, because people ask the tough questions, you know, why should we buy your stuff? Why should we deal with you? What can you offer us? And so you really have to know a lot about yourself and the market as well.
Yeah, definitely. So there was, one line I used to use. I don't know if you ever did this. So when I was searching for stores, sometimes I'd call the local chamber of commerce and I would say to them, this is the kind of a boutique I'm looking for. Is there something like that in your town? And they'd go, oh yeah, you should call Evelyn, who owns, you know, Evelyn's whatever. And Evelyn's Closet, or they always had like their name and closet.
You'd be like, across from the yellow house with the big tree.
Yeah. So then I'd call up Evelyn and I'd say, oh, hi, Evelyn. It's Monica Graves calling. This is kind of a weird call or whatever, but I'm a jewelry designer, and I was just on the phone with your local chamber, and they referred you to me. They said I should call you, and I don't know if this would be a line for," and she'd be like, "Oh, the chamber? Okay." And then I just use that. I just call people random. "Hi there. I heard about you from the chamber." And it always worked. It was
So mine was, so what I used to do is I used to call the stores and say, "Oh, hi, so-and-so was just, you know, reached out to me and inquired about purchasing some jewelry from me. They told me the town you were in, and I realized that I didn't actually currently have a base in that town. And I was wondering if I could just show you some of the products, and then, you know, you could decide if it would be a good fit." And then that's how I approached them. Mm-hmm.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. So, you know, like, someone from your town reached out to me, and so there's a need there, kind of thing.
Yeah, you're creating the need. Did you ever have your... Sorry, go ahead.
It didn't always work, though, because there have been a couple times where I had taken my product, and we, like, I'm going to say, sorry to put you in the same box, but I feel like we were very colorful, trendy. So it wasn't play it safe. It was do something different kind of designs, right? So, totally. Yes. And people who knew the lines knew them very quickly, right? So there have been a couple times where I had said that to people, and I go out and it's like a store for probably like my grandma or something like that, right? So, and I immediately upon walking in the door would be like, "Oh, this is where it fails. It's not a good fit." And I, you know, maybe that nipped me in the butt, but like my vibe I was giving off after that, but some didn't always work out.
Yeah, for sure. But the successful hit ratio was pretty high back in those days.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love it. And did you ever do this one, Dawn, where you'd have some of you really wanted an account so bad, and you're like, how, and then you get like 6 of your girlfriends just to phone and ask if, do you carry Studio Blue jewelry? Oh, I did that. Do you carry Glam Jewels? No, what's that? Awesome. Oh, it's a line from Burl. Yeah, I'm looking for it. Anyway, I'll call, maybe so-and-so has it. And and then like a month later, I'd be like, "Oh, hi, this is Monica from Glam Jewels." And they're like, "Oh yeah, you should come in here."
So weird. I've had so many people call this month. Yeah, that's awesome. No, I've never done that. That's very clever. Yeah. What I did have happen once is I had this store who I was like in love with, that I thought, I won't say where they were, but I thought they were like amazing. And after we get off, I'll tell you who it was. You'll probably know exactly. But anyways, so I brought all my designs there, and they loved them, and they wanted like some of everything. And then afterwards, I gave them everything, and then they were like 2 months behind. They did like what do you call it? What do you call that? Like
terms.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
So, and then they went away. So I had to like, you know, boss up and go in and pick everything up. And I didn't like doing that. I don't like relationships like that. I like it when it's like pleasant the whole way through.
Right. So this is interesting. This is one of the main reasons I got out of wholesale altogether, was because as people were becoming more and more active online and selling online, and I felt bad for these boutiques, because there were a lot of jerk customers that would go into a store, try something on, make sure it fit them, not buy it there, and then order it online, right? So this is what they were experiencing and having to go through. So there was this huge turmoil, and I thought, you know what, I've got to get, like, I need to scale back my own operation. I had 8 girls making jewelry at the time, and I was like, this has got to stop. Like, I got to scale this back and then work towards direct to consumer and get out of the wholesale altogether. And you know, I actually, the only account that I have 2 accounts, both are in Quebec. And the one woman, I love her so much. She has a boutique called Oppens on Saint Laurent, and it's a plus size women's store, very upscale. And I love her. And when I first met her, she was like, "I am not paying you right away. You are going to be paid after I inspect the merchandise and make sure it meets my standard." Like, she was a real hardball. But I was like, this woman's been in business for a long, long time. Yeah, and she's successful to this day. She's amazing. But so many of them, you know, even we'd have good relationships and then all of a sudden they can't pay their bills and somebody's going bankrupt. And not only do you use your money, you lose the product too. And it's like, okay, well, this isn't, you know, it's not the Bank of Dawn or the Bank of Monica. We got to close that up.
Yes. And that's what people don't understand. Or sometimes you hire people and then they branch off and they start using what you've taught them. And, you know, it's just, it's a juggling act. It's a constant juggling act because you have to juggle, you know, how you approach things and how to address things. And you're constantly adulting.
Yeah. You're managing people again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're waking up with that.
Yes, I know.
I know. Yeah. And it's so funny. Like now I wake up with this like, oh my God, I still feel 13. Am I going to feel like an adult today? Because every day I can create. Every day people want to pay me before I've even made it.
Yeah.
Because they appreciate me. I appreciate them. Everything's flowing as it should. Right.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yes.
Yeah. So Dawn, the doggies.
Yes.
Oh my God. Tell us about your weekend, please.
Oh, this weekend was, oh my God, this weekend was horrible. I might even start crying. No, I'm okay. So this weekend, I saw you. So when you were talking about this weekend being hard for everyone, we had a mom who was pregnant, who we had kept a secret because I had planned on keeping any of her female puppies because I love her so much. And I just wanted her all to myself. So mom went into labor too early. She didn't carry to term. We had like an emergency vet visit. She had her puppies 10 days early. And when you go on my Instagram page, you'll see that there was a puppy in an incubator. And it was just, I'm like driving and I'm crying all the way to the vets and I'm crying on my way home. And it wasn't about like some people reached out and said, oh, you know, that's too bad. That's a lot of money out the window. It's not about the money. It's about I love the mom so much. It's about the experience. It's about what's happening to her. Like, as I know she's a dog, but we can relate. Like if we were to go through something like that and then her hormones up and then down. And anyways, I was starting to lose faith in humanity because with COVID I'm going to say the first like year and a half, I felt like I was keeping really positive and I was encouraging people to remain positive and sharing good stuff. And since the beginning of this year, I've had a lot of like pet activists and negative people blowing up my inbox. And it's easy to say to stay away from those people, but you do have to filter through some of the messages to see if it's a potential customer reaching out to you, a family with a concern, or if it is just like spammy, right? So I do go through all those messages. And I was starting to get in a really bad headspace because I felt like everything that was coming my way was more negative comments than positive comments. And after this weekend, I have a drastically changed outlook on that now because I had so many people, see, I'm getting choked up, and so many people reach out, ugly cry, and say so many nice things. And they like two breeders who I haven't really interacted with a lot helped me get an oxygen tank and an incubator and just pulled together. And even though the puppy ended up passing away, all these people came together and offered support and love. And so I was like, now I'm like moving forward, I'm like, wow, I have to take a step back and I have to check myself. And it is okay. I'm still going to have people messaging me and saying mean things from time to time or inappropriate things, but I'm strong enough to deal with that. And I know that it is just a sign of the times. And those are people that I wouldn't sell a puppy to or place a puppy with anyways. And I need to know that. I need to know that they're not my people and it's okay to block them and just stay away from people like that. And I think that everybody during these times right now, whether it's like, unfortunately, whether it's like a family member or a friend, if you need to take a break and get away from someone that is making you feel a certain way, or that your energies aren't really connecting very well and you're finding yourself in a funk, I think that one thing we need to learn is it's okay to say I need a break and I need to focus on myself and I need to recheck myself. And that's what I've done. And I'm feeling a lot better today and yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I'm so happy. Dawn. Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's so true. I mean, this is the thing too, when you have your own business, for so many people, it's a lonely place. Yeah. It's a lonely place for people who don't even have their own business, because so many people are working from home now, right? Yeah. And I think though, when you do have your own business and you're putting yourself out there constantly, you're giving a piece of yourself. You're not giving it away. You're giving it away because you want to empower, you want to help, you want to do good in the world. That's the only thing any of us want to do. Yeah. And I'm not afraid to say, like, our egos are so fragile too. Yeah. Yes. Because it's so funny. Like, sometimes I'll have a conversation with someone and they'll say, oh, thank you so much for writing that blog. And I just want to say, why didn't you make a comment? Why didn't you like it? Like, I wrote it and it was dead silence. And now I feel like a loser.
I know.
But that's not how I should think. I should just think, create, let it go, and back to creation. Like, not expect anything back, or right. But this is such a beautiful story, because you now can be in a place where, when these negative people come at you, you can sit there and you can think of all these people on the sidelines, whether or not they're making themselves visible or not. They are always watching you and they are always supporting you. And that's what we need to tap into, is feeling this energy from other people, even when they're not standing right in front of us saying, you're awesome, right?
Yeah. 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 And it's funny too, because I struggle with Instagram, because I find we go in waves. Like, we'll get a lot of, like, a surge of followers, and then it'll be crickets for a while. And so you're constantly having to pay attention to the content that you're putting on Instagram. And when you have a business account through Instagram, it gives you your click-through rate, how many people are reaching each post, like, your audience that's actually seeing it, plus how many likes on the picture, plus how many shares, plus how many saves. So your ego does get take control sometimes, because you're like, oh, this got so many likes and this got so many shares, and that feels really good. And, so it starts to boost you a little bit. And like you said, when you post something that you think is awesome, like your dog sleeping with one eye open, one eye closed, and they look like they're a zombie, and nobody else thinks it's funny, right? Like, I remember one time, Hank went outside and he started rolling around, and he stuck his legs straight up in the air. He looked like he froze stiff, and I got a picture of it, and there's a little piece of poop on the ground behind him. It was frozen poop. And I had some people comment on the negative, like, this isn't what I wanted to see in my day. I didn't even see the poop until after I posted the picture, because I thought what he was doing was so funny that you get time as well, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's almost like, when you have, like, let's say growing up, you have a parent who's very judgmental, and it can never say anything about, I'm really proud of you, honey, that was a great job. It's always about, well, why didn't you do it this way, or what? Like, imagine that. Like, that's what those people are.
Yeah,
that's what those people are. And then we're like, oh my God, it's not good enough, it's not this enough, it's not. But I'm telling you, like, no, you put that piece of poop on there.
I know. I know. I know. And it's true. Yeah. And I know everybody in the world calls them the Karens or whatever, but I know some very nice Karens.
Me too.
So I try.
My mom's name is Karen. My mom's name is Karen with an I, but still, one of my best friends, her name is Karen. So come on.
Yeah. So it's like, you don't
like the Karen.
Use those terms, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. So Dawn, the other thing I wanted to kind of touch on is you've got some fears about COVID and dog ownership right now in
I
this
do.
pandemic. So yeah, share a little bit about that with us, because it's so important. We need mindful doggy parents out there.
Yeah. So
Any animal
since
parents.
the COVID pandemic has happened, there's a lot of families, you know, you're at home, you're isolated, people are getting depressed. So they're, you know, seeking other means of entertainment. And unfortunately, one of the ways they're seeking entertainment is through purchasing pets. So there's been a big boom in the pet industry right now. Even our vet has said, like, they've been inundated with phone calls and new customers wanting to get on board and sign up with them and become a customer, and, you know, to get their puppy seen. But the problem is the families that are out there, because they're being so impulsive, because it's a sign of the times, they're desperate to make their kids happy. They're not doing all their research, and they're supporting maybe backyard breeders or like puppy mills, or we've all seen it on the news, like, you know, 300 dogs in Toronto not too long ago was flown over, and a few of them died because they were imported improperly. They had saran wrapped the crates with, or they'd put saran wrap around the crates, and a few of the dogs had suffocated. Like, just, you know, so there's, but it's funny because we can't fly dogs out of Canada into the States, but the States can bring dogs into Canada. So there's a lot of, and especially in the UK, there's a lot of puppy mills over there. So people are flying these dogs in, and they're riddled with disease, and people are bringing them into their homes. And then when you're an unsuspecting family and you bring this puppy that looks sickly, you're doing it on from an emotional standpoint. You want to save it. Our feel good factors start to kick in, and you're like, you know, you're destined to do good by this dog. The problem is when you bring a dog in from another country and it's riddled with parasites, and just say you live in a condo, you've now walked through that condo with that sick pet and put everyone else's pets at risk, because animals shed little, you know, invisible germs that go on the carpets and floors and stuff. So, you know, you're constantly managing that. But also, I'm concerned that when the pandemic is over, if it's ever over, a lot of these dogs or pets, I feel like, are going to end up in shelters, which I feel like is going to create a whole other problem in itself, because people are going to be going back to work, I would suspect. And, you know, so that's a problem in itself, right?
Yeah, definitely. I know it's so hard to regulate. Like, it's almost like we need an adoption process for animals, just like
I would
we
love
do.
that. Yeah, I would absolutely love it. A lot of breeders have so to touch on the imports, as a breeder myself, I'll actually show you. I brought this out because I wanted. So when people when people purchase a puppy from a registered breeder, they're going to get a certificate that's something like this. This is through the Canadian Kennel Club. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can also opt to purchase something like this, which is a pedigree. So the pedigree shows who your dog is, who the parents are, who the great grandparents are. You can go up to as many generations as you want if you go on Ingress, if it's all in there, but this pedigree is 5 generations. So it gives the breeder, whether of cats or dogs or what have you, insight on what's behind the lines if the other breeders have done things properly. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. No, this whole process of adopting, like getting a dog.
So importing. So I wish that I need to import sometimes from outside breeders, because there's not a great deal of really good French Bulldog breeders that I would work with, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that, like, in Ontario, there's probably maybe 10 good breeders that I know that I rely on, but your lines get so close together after a time that you need to branch out to other breeders in other parts of the world in order to, for me, I would say, bring in a stud, and that boy would provide new DNA into my line, because to prevent inbreeding and whatnot, right? So I wish that there were stricter rules by the airlines that maybe, like, it could be regulated in a way that maybe Canadian breeders had a limit, say like 4 breeders that, or 4 dogs that they could bring in per year or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of some people who pretend to be breeders who get registered with the kennel clubs, but bring in like 100 dogs throughout the year.
Oh God. Yeah.
Right.
Wow. I didn't even know this was happening.
There's a big black market out there. So, and a lot of, there's breeders, there's people who will also say they have no intention of breeding the puppies. All our dogs go on a spay neuter contract, but we do get people who will purchase a dog. You'll lose touch with them. And what they've done is they've actually kind of fallen off the face of the earth. And then they've bred the dog to another unregistered French bulldog. They never get the paperwork. They breed them behind the scenes. The breeder doesn't know. And then they sell the puppies on Kijiji on the black market. So, but the problem with that is you don't, you know, this person that's bought a dog off you, yeah, they might have bought the stud off someone else, but they don't know if they're related or not. They don't know if there's any health issues behind the dogs or diseases or any. So there's just a lot more to think about.
Yeah, definitely. So, wow. This is great. And you're very good at you're an open book for people who have questions, and your website's great. Yeah.
I don't show well. Like I fumble a lot, and I just kind of, I don't know all the answers, and clearly I just lost my train of thought a couple.
No, that's okay.
But I just find that knowledge is power. So whenever I feel like a pet home is looking for information, I can't sell to them. We have a waiting list that's really long. So if I can educate them on what to look for in a good breeder and point them in the right direction, we have breeder friends who also have waiting lists, but they do things similar to the way we do. We have some breeder friends who don't do things the way we do, like operate totally different, but we love them for different reasons, right? So I just find that if I can educate people on where to get things that they want or a pet that they want. And sometimes it's for like a golden retriever or Yorkie or who knows. I feel like that information will at least set them in the right direction, hopefully.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's so good. Well, we're going to leave your website up so people can check you out, which is radfrenchies.ca, correct?
It is. Yep.
Yeah. Perfect. And then you're on Instagram. You're also on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, but I'm mostly active on Instagram. So I do have a couple accounts, but I'm mostly active on the bigger one. It's rad_Frenchies. And that's just, we're not a kennel. We just post pictures of our dogs in our home. Probably boring if you're not an animal lover.
No, it's great. And I was going to ask you, do you have a dog close by that could come on right now?
I will show you a puppy, just a second.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is exciting, you guys. She's getting a puppy. I just had to ask. Come on. We need to see. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, so, what a sweetie pie.
Camera. Where's camera?
There you go.
Guy. See his little teeny tiny leg.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How old is he?
A week old. Yeah. Oh. So eyes are closed. Eyes stay closed until roughly around 10 days old. Ears are starting to open, so he can probably hear me. But they're awesome.
That's so great. Yeah, it's funny. I keep thinking I'm going to put this talk show onto a podcast platform as well. So people are going to be crying when they listen and hear me go, oh my God, a week-old Frenchie.
Yeah, it's like the best thing because the moms, you get to watch them. Like I'm in it for the whole experience, and families that get puppies off of us, we usually announce when it's been a little different the last couple of weeks because it's been very stressful, but we usually announce when they're born, and then families will get pictures and stuff of the babies like as they grow, so you can hear them kind of, but it's so cool to watch them grow and their little personalities. Like we have one other litter. This will be it for a little bit, but earlier I was watching the siblings and they're starting to play. They're about 5 weeks old, and they were just beating the snot out of each other. It was a brother and a sister, and I'm like, get along. But they're, you know, they're testing boundaries and, you know, meeting different milestones, and it's just cool. I just love the whole thing.
Oh, I love it. I'm so happy you came on today, Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetie pie. Do you guys give them names? Like amongst yourselves? Yeah.
Jacob named, as I mentioned, Jacob has severe anxiety and depression. Yeah. So the one litter that we have is Kanga. Kanga is Jacob's, we say, his therapy dog. Like, he does everything, even though she's not a registered therapy dog, she's the love of his life. Like, this dog will stay here until she is old and missing teeth and blind and, you know. Yeah. So anyways, she had puppies, and Jacob decided to name them all after Star Wars, like, names. And it's just like, awesome. He comes out so excited, and he says it in the dopiest way possible. And the one dog that I think is so cute, he named Padme. I don't think it suits her at all. And he just holds her and loves her and calls her these names. And I'm just like, ugh. Like,
oh, that's so great. So, you know what? That would be a fantastic Instagram post for May the 4th. Be with you. You need to do a Star Wars with all.
Yeah. So, because they're all Star Wars right now. And I don't even know if he's watched Star Wars, which is the funny thing. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So.
Oh God. Yeah. You got to show him the classics that the first one.
Yeah. I know.
I know, which isn't the first one, right? It's like all the order of all the Star Wars. I don't even know which one's first, second. I'm not sure.
I know. I get like distracted, and then I can't sit still for too long. So I'll start watching them and then kind of walk away and then come back, and then I find out I've missed like a major part in the movie.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I'll put this little one back 1 second.
Okay, no problem. Aw, what a sweetheart. That was pretty fun. We all needed some puppy love today.
Yeah.
So, Dawn, I would love to invite you to have a little Instagram after party with me.
Sure.
So I'm going to say goodbye to you here. I'm going to put you in the virtual green room. Okay. And I'll come back to you. We can do the Instagram thing. But thank you so, so much. You were a delight. And thank you for indulging me in the olden days with the jewelry.
It's been a pleasure. Okay, bye.
Bye. Oh, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Dawn is so lovely, and you'll have to head over to Instagram in a couple of minutes. We'll be there live having our after party. And please do not forget to go check out brendabadome.com. Get yourself a nice little oatmeal blouse like the one I'm wearing today. And remember to use the coupon code GET2KNOWHER for 21% off of your order. Enjoy the rest of your day, you guys. Be good to yourself. Go easy. We'll get through this. Do not forget to show the world your sparkle. Bye for now.